Remember when you were a kid and you wanted a day off from school, so you would tell your mom like the night before, "Oh, my stomach's hurting," so that way when you wake up in the morning, you've already set the stage for the impending sickness. That way it's more believable in the morning, so you don't have to go to school. That's exactly what Void Interactive has done with this latest biweekly development briefing. This past weekend, they released the 67th biweekly dev briefing. And starting off, we did get some good news with the studio saying that they would be focusing mainly on performance updates and gameplay balancing, which is fantastic, until you read literally the next sentence that talks about how their team is still not at full operating capacity, whatever that means, after the holidays. So I guess everybody's just on a perpetual hangover until further notice. Immediately, it feels like they're setting the stage for delays in future updates, which is not what you want to hear as a player. Another good thing about this update is that they do express an ongoing commitment to refining the player experience, which is great, so I can only shit on them so much. But like I said, although we just got Hotfix number 2, they are already planning number 3 and 4, which kind of makes sense to me, but I don't know enough about the game development process to know exactly what that looks like as far as being able to plan ahead for future updates, because I kind of thought that you had to have one version out and then go back and change that one, and then kind of grows off of each other. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. But like I said, with the team not being at full operating capacity, they did acknowledge that there would be a slower pace to the rolling out of these updates due to the quote-unquote post-holiday ramp-up. It sounds like the design department's probably still just recovering from a cocaine bender from the new year. Later in the briefing, they also acknowledged their focus on community feedback and how crucial bug reports and comments from players like myself are in the forums or on Discord. This was pretty reassuring to at least know that although the process might take a little bit longer, they are at least listening to the community about what's going on in their game. Of course, they did mention AI improvements along with some tactical improvements, notably the taser slot in a tactical position instead of a required secondary position. Some people seem to be upset about this as it allows you to essentially carry 3 weapons, but personally I think this is an improvement to how the game actually plays, even though I don't really use the taser that much personally. Now, something that I did not expect them to address so soon was the topic of the comments surrounding the stress and morale system for the suspects and the civilians. From the sound of it, there are some positive changes on the way regarding how suspects and civilians respond based on different circumstances. I believe this is also going to play into audio detection with suspects, area noise with civilians, and proximity for both. On a less exciting note, they are also going to be improving the performance optimization, or you could just buy a new PC. Now, if you are still on an older PC, they did provide some tips in this update for player experiences that were having some performance issues. Notably, they also did mention issues with ultra-wide monitors, so if you have been experiencing anything of that sort, I would highly recommend checking out these notes. I will actually link them in the description this time, I promise. All in all, it did sound pretty political as far as the whole update goes. And of course, I do still have hope for the game, but I feel like the timeline is not going to be what I hope it is. So what do you think? What are some changes that you think are needed in the game? Do you think there is hope for the future of Ready or Not? As I'm sure we all are, I'm hoping these updates will come out sooner rather than later, but only time will tell. Thanks for watching. See you next time.